nice to see so many familiar faces and the community to come out. We have a very special guest speaker today. But before we get started, I would like to ask Pastor John if he would open us up with morning prayer. And then afterwards, if you'll join me in the flag salute, and then we'll turn the event over to Alter Wiener.
Thank you, Laura. Sir, welcome. So glad to have you here. And somebody asked me a few minutes ago if it's okay to take pictures, and I said, make yourself at home. Okay, take a picture, and if you have a paper out there, you try to use a library today. Like those parts, great. We have everything for our to gather to listen to history, as if the dear this morning. So I thought that the library, thank you. A couple weeks ago, today, and I have a great man in our start now, certain one honor for real army, so do this.
Allegiance to the flag, setting back, and purpose, one and God, indivisible, liberty and law.
Mary together with Dave Alter. He is a hospital, and he was a couple months ago at the Malala Library. And his story just touched my heart so much that I felt there needed to be more people to hear his story. So Alter is one of the very few Holocaust survivors still living and actually willing to tell his story. Many Holocaust survivors have been reluctant over the years to even speak about their experiences. So this is really a rather rare event. He is still living in the Portland area. He has shared his life's story in the state of Oregon and Washington to close, this is actually 898 speaking engagement that he's had. So we're just 2 away from 900. He has spoken to universities, colleges, schools, churches, synagogues, temples, prisons, companies, and booksellers. He was interviewed by radio, TV stations, newspapers, and Mr. Wiener has received an honorary bachelor degree from Warner College and an honorary law degree from Lewis and Clark School with a prestigious Americanism Medal from the Daughters of the American Revolution. That, I think, is an incredible achievement, considering that his youth years of education were spent in a forced labor camp in which he was robbed of an education at that time. So congratulations on that. Mr. Wiener's autobiography, From a Name to a Number, was published in April 2007. And autographed copies are available out in the foyer as you leave today. If you're wanting to pick one up, they're $20. You can pay cash or check. And I'm just so pleased to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming out to Malala. So afterwards, we'll have question and answers for everybody. And I'd also like to ask, when the presentation's over, remain seated until Mr. Wiener leaves the auditorium and is out in the foyer. Please help me in giving Mr. Wiener a moment.
And thank you all for being here. I'm going to share with you my life story. It's not a pleasant one, it's a very true story. I lived in New York for many years. I didn't talk about it. I realized that most people aren't able to comprehend or even to believe my own children. But coming to Oregon in the year 2000, I was approached by the Oregon Resource Center in Portland, and they asked me to share my story. I was very hesitant, I have an accent, my English is not perfect, but I gave it a chance. And my first presentation was at Century High School in Hillsborough. A week later, the teacher brought me about 100 letters from the students. What did they write to me? Mr. Wiener, you changed my life. You saved my life. You made me appreciate my country, my friends, my school, and so on. Then I realized that I'm doing something important. And this is the main reason that I am making an effort to share my story. It is not easy emotionally. When I talk about it, I see images. It's not easy physically. I'm 88 years old. But again, if you read those 58,000 letters that I received so far, you realize why I'm making an effort. It is very, very difficult. But if you, for example, why did I write my book? I had no intention to write a book. I didn't feel qualified to write a book. But I went to one of the churches, and I do speak quite in churches, in Vancouver, Washington. At the end of my presentation, an older man approached me. Tears in his eyes. That's what he told me. I was an officer in the American Army in 1945. I'm one of the liberators of Buchenwald, the eastern camp in Germany. I remember what I saw. I have nightmares till this very day. Please promise me in front of the church that you are going to put your life story in print. Do it for my children and for my grandchildren. That's the only reason that I wrote that book. I have no financial interest in it. I don't care if you buy the book. I would like you to read the book. And it is available in most public libraries. And I didn't realize that it might be a very good book. If you go to Amazon this morning, you'll see that my book was rated at Amazon number 58 out of 46 million books. So apparently there is something in my book which is important. If you go to page 158 in my book, you'll see a handwritten letter by an 8th grader that she intended to kill herself on Thursday. Whatever the reason was, she determined to kill herself. But when she heard my story, she realized how trivial her problems were in comparison to my problems at her age, and she did not kill herself. You'll see on page 160 a handwritten letter by another student that her mother passed away from ovarian cancer in Poland. And she was very close to her mother. And she became suicidal when her mother passed away. But then when she heard my story, that I lost 123 members of my extended family, my grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, then she said to herself, oh my God, I'm still lucky. I have a daddy. I have grandparents. You, Mr. Wiener, at my age, lost everybody. You see, you get a complete different perspective and you start to appreciate what you have. This is the main reason that I'm making an effort to share my story. The second reason is that there are people who are ignorant about the Holocaust. The other day, a teacher asked me to make him a copy how I looked after the war. This is me, I know it's hard to believe, but that's how I look. On May 9, 1945, when I was liberated by the Russian army, my total weight was 80 pounds. 80 pounds. I could embrace my tie with one hand. In fact, the Russian doctors gave me no hope to live. If I live 2 years, they said it's going to be a miracle. So I went to Kinko's to make a copy. I didn't know how to operate a copy machine. I asked some of the young men to help me, and he looked at me, looked at the picture, and asked me, is this you? Oh, yeah. You don't look like a criminal, he said. I'm not a criminal, I'm a Holocaust survivor. He had no idea what I was talking about. He was brought up in Portland. I was shocked. I told him, so did you hear about Hitler? Oh yeah, Hitler was a bad man, but Holocaust, what is Holocaust? The third reason that I'm sharing the story is that there are people who deny the Holocaust. They say it didn't happen. Even prominent people like the president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, he said in the United Nations a few years ago that the Holocaust is a myth. How dare he say so? How can anybody say it didn't happen? No other event in history has been so well documented as World War II, and somebody tells you it did not happen. I'm carrying my physical and mental scar, and somebody tells me it didn't happen. There are 27 Holocaust museums in the United States. There are Holocaust museums all over the world. There are 17,000 books written by Holocaust survivors. Somebody tells you it didn't happen. When my book came out in 2007, the first copy, I went to the post office and sent it to the president of Iran. I spent $40 to send it to him. And every time, as long as he was president, now he's no longer president, I used to send him letters which proved that there was a war. That he makes a mockery out of himself denying the war. And in my last letter to him, I attached a copy of the check that I have been getting from Germany every month for the last 65 years. I don't know if many of you are aware of it. It's called Wiedergutmachung, which means a gesture of goodwill that the Germans are paying to the survivors if they could prove that they were in camps. And obviously I could prove. And I've been getting the check for 65 years. And I asked him, if there was no Holocaust, I mean, talking about the president of Iran, why do I get a check from Germany? Why don't you get a check from Germany? I mean, it is ridiculous. So these are the three reasons why I am sharing my life story. I know it is hard to believe that this is the same person, but that's exactly how I look after the liberation. I was 18 and a half years old to be exact. My total weight was 80 pounds. What you see here in the middle of my head, in that particular camp called Waldburg, they used to shout us quite often to be recognized as one of us contemplated to run away. This is another picture of me when I was 14 years old, during the war. I was just taking a picture by a neighbor. I don't know, you can see they were very despondent, very concerned. I was wearing the armband with the Star of David. The neighbor of mine, she also was taken to a concentration camp, and she survived the war, and she gave me that picture. This is the only picture that I have from home for the war we used to be during the war. Later on, you're going to hear me that at one point I was stripped naked, and everything that I had personal was taken away from me. I don't even have a birth certificate to this very day. Who am I? I come from a little town called Eskridge in Poland. A little town very close to the German border, 22,000 population, half Jewish, half Roman Catholic. As a little kid, I had a picture of normal lives. Even though I didn't have any of the conventions that you take for granted today, I did not have. We didn't have even running water. Needless to say, we didn't have an air conditioner, a refrigerator, a car, a television. It didn't exist when I was a little kid. But there were beautiful values instilled in me as a child that I appreciate all that I get. Just to give you an idea, I had to go to visit my grandparents every weekend, to walk a mile and a half to say hi. They never gave me a toy or a game, they couldn't afford it, the table, but this was my responsibility to show them my respect, my love. So I walked a mile and a half. On New Year's Eve, I had to knock at the door 24 minutes now, a building that wish everybody a Happy New Year. This is the kind of environment that I come from. We had a homeless person, sometimes 2 or 3, at our table, and we were brought up to respect those homeless people. We called them our guests. I went to a public school in the morning and to a religious school in the afternoon, 6 days a week. And all this came to an end on September 12th, 1939, with the German army on the base in Poland. And as you see, this little town is very close to the German border. As a matter of fact, Paul John II was my neighbor. We come from the same family. So it was so close to the German border that we were affected right away as soon as the war broke out. So people tried to get away from the border. How do you get away? Nobody in my town had a car. I know it is difficult for an Oregonian to imagine how did people live without